Hello world, I'm an average Joe and I play games, and welcome to a little bit of a casual conversation. So let me tell you what kind of went down. So I recorded a challenge series, and that's what you see playing in the background. But it is probably the worst set of Crucible games that I have ever played in my entire life. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong during that set of Crucible games. So much so that I wanted to redo the challenge. Now, as you know, part of the what makes the challenge series unique is that I don't cherry pick, and so I'm going to show you guys the bad gameplay, but it simply was not entertaining, and I don't want to put bad content out there on my channel, and you guys deserve better than that. So I'm going to show you the gameplay, going to talk about something else in this video, but you can see the horrible, god-awful gameplay running in the background. And as you're watching, just keep track of how many times like I'll spawn in with a golden gun literally pointing at me, and I get blown away as soon as I spawn in, like that, or I round the corner and a Nova Bomb blows me up, or some crazy thing like that. Just count the number of times because it was pretty ridiculous. So rather than put a challenge series out there where I'm complaining for 45 minutes about how frustrated I am, I decided to cut out the audio and do a little bit of a different topic for today. And the topic for today's video is what would I do, or what would I change about Destiny if I was a designer for a day? Now let me make it a little clear that this is not a bash Destiny video. I think that Destiny has a great framework for what will become an awesome franchise. It has shortcomings. All games have shortcomings, particularly the first installment of franchises. The first Call of Duty wasn't very good. The first Halo wasn't very good. The first, anything wasn't very good. If you look, franchises usually take a couple of iterations to really get going, and Destiny is going to be the same way. It has a very solid core gameplay mechanic, or gameplay mechanics, I should say, and Destiny 2 and 3 and following will build on top of that, and this will become an even better franchise than it already is. But let's be honest, there are things that could be improved, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. If I was a designer for Destiny for one day, these are the things that I would change about Destiny. So since the Crucible video is playing in the background, we'll start there. Really, two changes to Crucible I think would make it a more rewarding and a more satisfying experience. The first is Crucible game modes. We've only had really 4 core game modes, and they've all been TDM based. I would really like to see them switch it up a little bit. I know they're trying, double skirmish and things like that, but what was it, Inferno. But I would really like to see a more objective-based game mode. Capture the Flag is kind of a classic game mode. I'd like to see that, and I would also like to see a bare bones game mode where there's no heavy ammo, where there's no supers, and special ammo drops once per game in the same spot that heavy ammo drops on a normal map. I think that would eliminate or greatly reduce the amount of shotgun blink shenanigans that go on in Crucible today. You keep all the same maps. You don't have to change up the maps to make them less shotgun friendly or anything like that. You can just have a game mode that is pure gun skill on gun skill. Keep the radar because that cuts down on campers. Keep all your grenades and your melee abilities and everything like that, because that does give you some felt difference between classes, but make it so that it's more gun on gun skill, and if you're a better gunfighter than somebody else, you can expect to walk away from a gun battle with a victory. I would love to see that type of game mode in the Crucible. The other thing that they need to work on in Crucible is, of course, the Crucible rewards. I think it's a little unbalanced that you can play a rock strike and it takes about 10 minutes, and you're guaranteed at least 1 blue engram. And so a lot of times you get more than 1 blue engram. I've gotten 2 or 3 blue engrams from playing a rock strike. You can get legendary engrams. You're at least guaranteed something. In Crucible, you can play a 10-minute match, and more often than not, you will get nothing. So what they need to do is they need to, at a minimum, for the winning team, at least everyone gets a green quality piece of equipment. So that way you can play Crucible and get class-specific upgrade items. So you can get your Sapphire Wire, you can get your Hydronic Essence, you can get your Plasteel Plating by playing the Crucible, because every time you win, you're going to get a green piece of equipment, and half the time that's going to be armor that you can then deconstruct. Additionally, the top player overall should get a blue, at least the top player overall should get a blue engram, and really it should be the top player on both teams should get a blue engram to make it more fair, because you can, we've all seen the screen captures of players that are down at the bottom of the leaderboard getting Gallarhorns and things like that. Make it more rewarding for players that really lead their team, and for players that try to carry their team and just can't, because you really need good teammates to win in the Crucible. So reward players that are carrying their team and trying to perform very well. Additionally, I think that the top player overall should get Ascendant materials, because again, you want to make the Crucible, you want there to be an upgrade path through the Crucible. And so, Crucible does not really award Ascendant materials like you do in PvE. In PvE, you have public events. You can do the daily heroic mission, and you're going to get your Ascendant materials. That's really the most reliable way to get Ascendant materials. If all you do is play Crucible, you would never be able to upgrade your gear. You'd never be able to compete in Iron Banner. There has to be a glide path from level 20 all the way up to level 31 to be able to compete in Iron Banner and then get the level 32 gear. You should be able to play Crucible exclusively and still be able to compete in Iron Banner. That's the entire point of Iron Banner. It's the pinnacle of PvP. All right, enough of Crucible. Let's talk about other things that I think would really make this game great. Legendary equipment reforging. This has to be something that they add into the game at some point. Now, people will talk about what do they call it? Transmogrification, polymorphic. I don't know. The people that come from an MMO background will know what I'm talking about. I guess in MMO land, there's this technique where you can take an item and change the appearance of it or something like that, so that you can run with the highest level gear, but you can change the appearance to look like what you want. So a lot of people talk about bringing that into Destiny. I don't want that. I want them to expand the reforging capability for more than just Iron Banner weapons. Make that for everything. Any piece of Vanguard gear, Crucible gear, faction gear, any weapons, let me be able to upgrade them, and let me be able to upgrade them to the highest light level or the highest damage level. Let me take some radiant energies that I got from Crota's End and let me use them to upgrade my Fatebringer to 331 attack. That would be really cool. Or let me take my Dead Orbit gear, which I love the look of, and let me be able to upgrade that to level 32 light, so I can compete at level 32 yet wearing the gear that I like. And let me reforge it, because a lot of the times it doesn't have hand cannon ammo or hand cannon reloader, which is what I really want on my equipment. I think that would solve a lot of the issues that people complain about, that everyone runs around with the same equipment. That wouldn't happen, because you would be able to have visually the equipment that you like aesthetically, and also I think it would add some more interest in builds. It would open up a lot of cool possibilities in what the different options that you can put on armor and put in your builds. Another thing that Destiny really needs is micro progression. So some people will, Dado's talked about this a little bit, where he wants Destiny to have micro progression, where you can get these small little buffs or small little bonuses by doing something. So you clear Crota's End 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. Maybe you get a damage buff against Crota, or a damage buff while you're playing in Crota's End or something like that. I don't know, I'm making that up. I don't even think it has to be that far. Between the emblems and shaders, Destiny has a great opportunity to add in just, micro progression, or, something like what Call of Duty does with the challenges. So, let's say you Nova Bomb 500 opponents in Crucible. give me a really cool looking emblem that has, a Nova Bomb and, an enemy disintegrating or something like that. That would be a really cool emblem that, I would work at and unlock over time. I would play my Voidwalker to have that emblem because not a lot of people are going to have that emblem, or have special emblems once you do full clears of raids a certain number of times. If you do a full clear of a raid a certain number of times, have a special emblem associated with that you would give somebody. That would cut down on people that just want to do that are looking for a Crota checkpoint, for example, because you'd have a lot of people that would want that emblem and would do the full raid just so they can unlock that emblem. Same thing, you can also award shaders. And what I think that this will do is it would, give people something to work for, and people love having the custom emblems in Call of Duty, so I think that it would work. And it also prevents the rich become richer issue with microprogression, because the issue with microprogression is that that actually impacts gameplay is that it is hard to get the balance right, because the people that are going to have the microprogression, or work through that microprogression, are the people that are playing all the time, and they're already the people that are level 32 with all the exotics fully upgraded, and they know how to play the game. So you don't want a situation where you know your top players just become even more dominant. So rather than spend all that time trying to get that balance right, I think that they can do it much simpler by starting with emblems and shaders that are unlocked through some sort of custom challenges. Personally, so let's switch gears. We talked about microprogression. Sorry, I'm just looking at my list. So personally, I also think that Destiny would be really cool with a horde mode. I'm not really a zombies guy, but I loved Extinction in Call of Duty Ghosts, and I just like horde modes. Zombies I didn't really like because you were just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. There wasn't, much of a, I don't know. There wasn't much variety. I figured out, the whole zombie, train chain technique where you just kind of run around and then they all follow you and then you just turn around periodically and blow them up. That got boring for me very quickly, so I didn't play much zombies. But in other games, I really enjoy horde modes, and I think it would be, really cool to drop you kind of, take the same map that you use for patrol, drop you in the middle of it, and then have enemies just bum rush you, and it would have a lot of opportunity for different strategies and finding different spots, and you mix up the waves where maybe some waves you get a couple, 3 or 4 ultras, but then in other waves you get a ton of smaller enemies. So then different waves may have different strategy where is the optimal part of the map, for example, to be at in order to survive that wave. I think that would be a really cool concept that they could do. You could incorporate bosses, specific bosses for horde mode. So, wave number 10, every 10th wave you have to fight a boss or something like that. That would be a cool addition, I think. I don't think that this one is necessarily required for Destiny to be a great game. It's just, personally something that I would like to see them add into Destiny. Wow, have I really been talking for 14 minutes? Pick it up, Joe. All right, so let's see on the list. Okay, so the last thing that I'll mention is changes to Xur. So as you know, Xur has been very kind to me. A lot of you guys have come to my channel because of my Xur prediction videos. Xur and I were tight, but I do think that they could optimize Xur. Specifically, I think that Xur should offer every single exotic in the game every single week for 100 strange coins. So you can buy your Galahorns, you can buy your Suros, or whatever you are really itching for. I want the last word. I haven't been uh, silent about that. That's the one exotic that I would really like. So so let me spend 100 strange coins and let me buy my exotic from Xur. Even for people that have 3 maxed out characters and can do the weekly heroic strike, every 3 of them every single week, that's still 27 strange coins. You're going to have to do 4 weeks of grinding in order to get those strange coins. And what this does is this guarantees that if you have your heart set on an exotic, you're going to get it eventually. Even for hardcore players, it's still going to take you 4 weeks to get it. Maybe 3 weeks if you're really lucky with some of your drops and you get strange coins from engrams or you get strange coins from the Nightfall or something like that. But even for casual players, it gives them something to grind for, and and not really grind for, but it gives them something to save for. They know they are going to get it, and people wouldn't be angry or upset with Xur anymore for not bringing them what they feel like they deserve. And that's the problem. And as a warlock, I used to get angry at Xur because he didn't bring Heart of the Praxic Fire. But that's an entitlement mentality. Like, I don't deserve for Xur to bring, my specific exotic. Or when I buy an engram from Xur, I don't deserve for, it to have this, the specific exotic that I want. No, it's that Xur is a bonus, and so in order to preserve that kind of feeling from Xur, keep the same schedule that he has, where he brings one of each type of gear for each class: a hunter gear, a titan gear, and a warlock gear, and a weapon, and have him discount one of those pieces of gear every week. So we would still have the fun of predicting what Xur was going to discount, but even if he never discounted the thing that you wanted to discount, you could still drop 100 strange coins and you could still get what you really wanted. I think that I would balance it out a little bit and removed some of the anger at RNG that a lot of people experience when they play Destiny. Well, there you guys have it. Those would be how much was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those would be the 6 things that I would change if I was designer for a day in Destiny. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And if you've watched this long, thank you so much. This is one of the longer videos that I do. I try not to have videos this long, but I had a lot of Crucible gameplay to put in the background, so I just rambled on. So leave a comment if what you would change in Destiny if you were designer for a day. Do you agree, disagree with any of my ideas? And tell me what is kind of your biggest frustrations and how you would go about fixing the problem in a way that kind of maintains the balance that we like in the game. Well, hit that subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, do whatever it is you guys do, and we will see you in the next game.